And I got a break because I had it at 3.5, and he scored the touchdown at the end. Thank God for
Here
that.
you go.
It always comes down to that.
It always comes down to that. You're a degenerate.
The bottom line is.
Degenerate.
Welcome to the show, playoff edition, Fly Degenerates, with your host, Big H, and your co-star, Flex, and Word Life. Here we are, brand new year, brand new pick'ems. What do you got, Flex? Chargers at Houston.
So, for the Houston Texans game, I'm taking the Houston Texans.
Wow.
Not because I necessarily have any faith in them the way that they've played, but I feel like at some point it has to flip. Getting 3 points at home. I know the Chargers team, obviously, the way that they've played to the final whistle, like basically like last week as well, week 18, they played hard. They played like, it was no resting, none of that. But like we were, or speaking of about Tua earlier, Justin Herbert still has to get it done in the playoffs. And I know that, CJ Stroud also hasn't been getting it done. But I just feel like the way everybody's down on this team, it might just be like, wishful thinking, but I just feel like at some point they got to surprise us and kind of go back a little bit to the form that we saw last year. I know it's totally separate, but and nothing has to do, but you know what? This is a new season. The playoffs is a brand new season, so maybe they kick it into gear. And let's see, man. Justin Herbert hasn't done it yet. So, we all can go back to the Jaguars game from 2 years ago. Granted, he doesn't have that anchor of Brandon Staley on him anymore. But let's go with Houston Texans. CJ Stroud pulls one out at home, getting 3 points. I'll take them over the Chargers for the first game of the playoffs.
Nice.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna take the Colts. I'm sorry, not the Colts. I'm gonna take the Bolts. I don't really have a big reason, more than just they're the favorites, and this is the year of the favorites. Now, maybe that doesn't carry into the playoffs, but I've been trying to find spots to fade this Charger team. Feels like all season long, and I just can't figure it out for whatever reason. And I feel like anything I would try to say to try to make a case for the Texans would just be based off of a team that they aren't anymore. The team that they were last year, the team that everybody kind of expected them to be coming into this year. I feel like I've been waiting all year for the Texans to live up to what they were supposed to be this year or what they were last year, and none of those have come. And it's already the year is over. They didn't show up. They made it to the playoffs because they're in a shit division, but I don't think anybody. Typically when everybody seems to be down on the team, I want to go the other way, but they're not giving me anything to hold on to. Like from this year, if I'm going to try to make, like I said, if I'm going to try to make a case, it has to be from last year, and I just don't think that they're that team anymore. And last year, I took the Browns as favorites going in there because I was trying to fade the rookie quarterback, And that didn't work out, but it didn't work out because the rookie quarterback played well. It worked out because Joe Flacco threw like 3 pick sixes in the first half, and the game was over before it even got started. So, I haven't seen anything from this Texans team literally all year. So, I've been trying to fade the Chargers. I feel like they've been overhyped, but I've at least seen more from the Chargers than I have from the Texans this season. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. Give me the Bolts, -3.
Nice. -3. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with one of you guys, so I'm going to agree with the
Unless there's a mystery team in here.
I'm going to agree with the host here. I'm going to agree with H.O.
You're the host. Agree with yourself.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to go with the Chargers, man. A lot of it has to do with what you said, H. I try not to repeat a lot of this shit. Like, once you guys say something or touch on something, I try not to touch on it. But yeah, you summed it up with the favorites, and very similar to you. Like I said a few times, countless times already, is like I'm always like, I never was on the Chargers as, like, I feel like we both been on that. But I feel like Herbert has gotten better as the year went along. I feel like when they do lean on him, he performs well. You know what I'm saying? When they have to, he does. So, and the Texans O-line has been, terrible. Joe Mixon is healthy, so that kind of scares me a little bit. But I'm gonna just go with the Chargers and I guess the better quarterback, at least this year, So give me the Chargers. I'm giving 3 to the home dogs. All right. I think this is the hardest one out of all of them. And contrary to what I said about the Chargers, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh here. The 9, it's still 9.5. That's what I had last.
Yes, sir.
It's just, I'm playing the points here. I'm playing a healthier Steeler team. I'm going with a Russell Wilson getting the belt from his coach and maybe getting in line a little bit, putting him in line. Because I feel like with Russell, he's like that good kid that you're like, nah, he knows better. He's too witty. He's a smart kid. He knows better. But then you're like, this is the 5th time this cocksucker has done fucking snuck somebody in through the window. Oh yeah, sorry. You can bleep that if you must.
Yeah, please. This is a family show.
I forgot. But you're like, damn, this kid is like, he must not know better. I gotta sit him down and have this one-on-one with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gives me that vibe. Like I feel like Russell got the one-on-one.
That fucking voice. Who was that? Who was that?
I don't even know. I'm just happy. I'm just happy I get to talk football with my guys.
That was sick, that voice.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying? You're like, hold on. Like, so I feel like that's what I think that's gonna happen. I think Pittsburgh, that Ravens game, they lost their number 1 corner, in Joey Porter Jr., which the Giants passed on them. Just friendly fact there. But yeah, it's a big number. I know. And honestly, no one's talking about this. Like, we still haven't seen playoff Lamar. Like, we forgot about playoff Lamar. Like, yeah, he has a better team. Yeah, he has a better running back. Yeah, he has better numbers than last year. Yeah, I get it all, right? But until I see it, I'm still gonna remember the last time Lamar burnt me or things in the playoffs. So 9.5 is a big number. Give me Pittsburgh to cover. Ravens win.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Pittsburgh as well. For all the reasons you just said, but I also feel like, listen, I'm rooting for Lamar. I want to see Lamar do well. I want to see him kind of shake this this whole playoff reputation that he has. But if you're talking about where I got to put my money, I'm gonna bet on what I've seen. I'm not gonna bet on what I haven't seen.
Exactly.
And the other thing that I think is interesting about this game that I feel like isn't being really talked about too much is that I feel like there was a lot of discussion last week and even this week about Sam Darnold, and he choked in the big spot and everything on the line, and are they going to bring him back, and he's playing for a contract. Russell Wilson's career could be over if he fucks this game up.
Right.
Russell Wilson, this could be the game that decides, is he going to be back with the Steelers? Like, if he wins, if he finds a way to win this game, maybe he gets a contract with the Steelers and comes back. If he comes out there and lays an egg, they have a decision to make, but then who else is really even going to be interested in Russell Wilson at this point? I think he has a lot to play for. And whether or not he's going to come through, I don't know. But I just feel like, I mean, he is a veteran. So I don't know. I expect it to be a good game. I expect them to be competitive. So 9.5, as we know, that these games tend to be lower scoring. And also the other angle that you didn't mention, but Zay Flowers probably is going to be out. And to cover a big spread like that, I think that the Ravens are going to need to make some explosive plays. And without Zay Flowers, he is their explosive play guy. They went out and got Deontay Johnson to be another explosive play guy, which that obviously didn't work out. He's fucking, where is he now? He's somewhere. He's on, I think is he an Eagle? I can't remember. Somebody signed him, but
Texans.
Texans, there you go. So yeah, if they don't have Zay Flowers, then I like it even more, because I think to cover a 9.5, you're gonna need to get some explosive plays, and I think the only man beater that they really have in the pass game is Zay Flowers. Keep an eye on Isaiah Likely though. I think if Zay Flowers doesn't play, I think Isaiah Likely might be a big target. But either way, I think that he would be the one person that could give the Steelers some trouble in terms of giving the Ravens an explosive kind of balance for their offense. I don't think they're going to Derrick Henry their way to covering a 9.5 spread. So I'll take those points.
Nice.
Well, fellas, you know that I'm good at one thing here, and that's disagreeing with everything. And that's why I'm disagreeing with both of y'all in taking the Baltimore Ravens, giving 9.5. And that's a little bit of my Vegas ain't slick pick methodology right there, because we all know the long-standing Tomlin versus Lamar Jackson record. It's not good. Last time they played, they broke it, and I think because they covered that game, a big spread. I think they do the same. We've seen the Steelers that I believe they've lost 4 games in a row. Some of the shine has come off of Russell Wilson to a certain degree. And I just think they pretty much, I think defenses have caught up to what he's doing, and I think everybody else has come on to like what I've been saying about George Pickens. He's their only threat, and you know, like one of my problems with George Pickens is he makes the most ridiculous catch, and then you know the highlight catch, and then he doesn't show up. I think he had 4 targets last week and dropped 3 of them, and not just not bad, not just like bad throw drops or they were awful drops that he should have caught. And I don't know. I think there's nobody else that scares the Ravens. I know that there's I guess Kyle Hamilton. I'm not sure if he's been declared out yet, but I know that he hadn't practiced at least until yesterday, which is obviously huge. But there's not really that many weapons that you have to worry about with the Steelers. So I know Zay Flowers is out, but honestly, like looking back, I think Lamar and the Ravens are 500 with and without Zay Flowers. When Zay Flowers gets 10 targets, they're 500, 10 targets and over. And I think that sometimes he locks into Zay Flowers, and Lamar sometimes doesn't play as well when he's locked in on him. And I feel like he spreads the ball around a little bit more to both tight ends. Mark Jackson, Mark Andrews, who has kind of reemerged recently. He has I think it might be 4 games in a row scoring a touchdown. Thanks for nothing, by the way. I drafted him in the 5th round for my fantasy team, and great time to start catching touchdowns, by the way, Mark. Thank you. And I just feel like the offense is kind of clicking a little bit. I know Derrick Henry hasn't looked that great recently, though. But I don't know. I just think there's still firepower, man. And if you incorporate Lamar Jackson back into the running, and I know Rashad Bateman has kind of stepped up a bit, and like you mentioned, likely, I just still think that there's enough. And it being 9.5 points, I know I feel like that's just begging to go with the Steelers based on past history, but that's why I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, even though it's a big number. So the Denver Broncos, I'm going to go with them. I know it's the big favorite, the big juggernaut. The Buffalo Bills. I feel like everybody on earth is rooting for this team to win, is rooting for Josh Allen to win the the MVP, to look great, to do all of this stuff. And I wouldn't be true to myself if I didn't go with the team that I've been riding with since week 5 or week 7, around there, with the Denver Broncos. I feel like this is a team that's going to keep it close. And it's not like like what we were speaking of earlier with the Elements and Miami. This is not a team that's they're coming from Denver. They're not they play outdoors. They're not coming from a team that's coming from a warm weather area or a dome situation. We're going from a team that probably plays in similar weather. I mean, I don't know exactly what the weather is like right now over there, but I don't know. I just think that this is a team that's going to be prepared for the elements. I think it's the defense. They get turnovers. I know that the turnover differential is middle of the pack, and the Denver and the Buffalo Bills turnover differential is the best in the league by far. But if you're not getting those turnovers for the Bills defense, I don't see them getting that many extra chances from this team. I feel like Sean Payton this is his time to shine. If he's the guy he's been telling everybody that he is, this is his time to shine. I feel like he has a game plan that's gonna kind of keep it close. And the Bills defense honestly doesn't really scare me that much. I don't know. To me, the Denver Broncos are like a Buffalo Bills light. Obviously minus Josh Allen. But I think we've seen it. Bo Nix open it up a bit with the offense recently, and he's been playing pretty well. I don't know. I just think 8.5 points. I'm taking the Denver Broncos in a much closer game than everybody is hoping for.
I'm going to take the Broncos too. 8.5 is just too much. Once you're crossing into 2-possession game, I think they should be able to keep it close. And this, unlike with the Chargers, at least when I take the Chargers as a favorite, I feel confident that Justin Herbert's going to protect the football. Josh Allen, we don't know what we're going to get from him. I mean, he's been better at protecting the football this season, but against a good defense, cold weather, in a spot where, all eyes are on him, and, everyone is, he's probably going to be named the MVP, which I disagree with, but he probably is going to be named the MVP anyway. I just feel like there's going to be a lot on his shoulders. Maybe he turns the ball over. The only thing I'm afraid of is if Von Miller decides that he wants to just haunt his former team and just be all over Bo Nix all day. That could be a problem. But I think that they'll figure out a way to manufacture some offense against a bad Bills defense. I don't think the Bills defense is very good, so I think the back door is always open. And for 8.5 is just, they could be down. They could be down 16 and have a, backdoor end of the game touchdown. They're not going to stop playing in these last game of the season. It's not like a regular season game. So the backdoor is more open than ever. So it's just too many points. So I think the Bills could roll, like I said, if they get if they force Bo Nix to turn the ball over, or like I said, if Von Miller is all over him. But I don't know. I think they'll figure out a way to put up some points, and the defense can hold Josh Allen enough. I think the Bills win, but I think the Broncos should be able to keep it within 8.5.
Nice. Yeah, this one was tough. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Bills here. I like, if you told me it's a close one, or you told me the Bills run away with it, I can see it either way. I can't see the Denver pulling out the window, but I could definitely see like a close game or Bills run away with it. I'm gonna go with the Bills run away with it. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, Allen could wet the bed, or he could bowl out. But I feel like we're gonna see kind of a tier, like the tier difference here, and I think it should. I mean, it's a big number, but I think the Bills are just a better team. Denver's better coached, but I'm still gonna lean with the Bills here. And Josh Allen this is his year, bro. I mean, we didn't expect. Well, I wouldn't say we, but I didn't expect that team to have that many wins and be as good as they are. He's stepped up and possibly had his best year. He's MVP leader. Though I agree that it should be Lamar or Burrow over him, but yeah, I'm gonna go Bills, man. Give me the Bills, giving 8.5 here. This is when I have to separate my hate and my like, and I have to just be smart here. But
we all know who you're picking.
Yeah, just say it. I'm gonna go Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers. I just like them more, man. I think the Eagles.
So you're not separating your hate?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I just think that it's a close game. I think it's gonna be a close game. I believe Green Bay's better coached. I think Green Bay might have the better quarterback. Hurts, he's been out for a while now. He's already a slow starter as it is. They're going to lean on Saquon. I think Green Bay can understand that and do enough to make it a close game. But I still think Green Bay keeps it within. Yeah, I can see Green Bay pull it off. I can see Green Bay do the miraculous win here and pull it off. The Eagles' defense is what scares me the most. That defense, I did not expect the Eagles' defense to be as good as they are. With that being said, I'm still picking Green Bay, getting 4.5 in Philadelphia. Eagles still win, but give me Green Bay.
All right. Well, I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to give the 4.5. I just think that the Green Bay is coming into this game a little too banged up. I think that I think they've been able to survive the end of the season without Jair Alexander, but I think he will be missed in this game. I think that they're as kind of unproductive in the grand scheme of things as Christian Watson is. I think he's going to be missed too because they don't really have a marquee receiver. They just have depth. They have a lot of really good receivers. I don't think they have any elite receivers. I think if healthy, the closest thing they probably have to an elite receiver is Christian Watson, and he's out. And I just feel like not having the full complement of weapons. To tell you the truth, what I really love in this game is I love them in the first half, and I love the Eagles to just dominate the second half because I just think that they're going to get worn down. The Eagles offense really leans on you. they had last week to rest, whereas Green Bay played and Jordan Love got banged up in that game too. We don't know what's going on with his hand. I mean, I'm sure he's fine, but if he wasn't, we wouldn't know anyway, probably. So, I mean, I think there's questions about his health. There's questions about the health and the defense. And I don't know. I hesitate to go against Green Bay just because I was really impressed with the run that they had in the playoffs last season, but that was last season, man. That was last season, indoors, fully healthy against a Cowboys team that just was looking to get murdered. And I just don't think that Philly is that team this year. I think that they kind of solved some of their problems toward the end of the season. They're kind of feeling like they've kind of, I don't want to say on a roll, but they're as close to on a roll as they need to be, I think, to cover 4.5. I just don't think it's enough points. I think that the Green Bay could maybe keep it close for the first half, but I feel like I can see a game where the Eagles pull away and maybe score the last touchdown to kind of end the game and, you know, make it a 2-score game to finish the game out. I just feel like they're just going to have too much fully healthy. So I'll take Philly and I'll give the 4.5.
At some point, I have to agree with Cheeks, and I was still flip-flopping on this game because there is a lot of question marks with a lot of the big with the big players. Basically, I mean, Jair Alexander, Christian Watson, Jordan Love's hand, Jalen Hurts as well. And at that point, I'm just gonna go to the coaching, and I think that the Packers have the advantage in, you know, when it comes to coaching here, given that it's 4.5 points. You know, if it was 3, maybe I go the other way, but I don't know, man. I just feel like Nick Sirianni, he's been on his good behavior, and he's like dying to pull one of his shenanigans, or and rear his ugly head at some point. So, that, last year, the Packers almost made, they won 2 away games. They, was it 1 or 2? I know that they won in Dallas or whatever, but I just feel like this team has kind of done it
game
already.
They lost the next week. They had the lead, but they blew it against San Francisco.
To the San Francisco. Yeah, so I mean, they've done it already, and like I said, I have faith in LaFleur more so than I do in with Sirianni. And just, what week are we going on to? This is going to be 3 weeks where Jalen Hurts hasn't played. He just started practicing today, I believe. If not, it might have been yesterday. And I don't know, maybe he's a little bit rusty, and also, I just don't think that they're gonna use him the same way, if they are, protecting him from from his concussion or whatever. So I think that changes it a little bit in terms of the goal line stuff and short distances. Maybe they have to alter their play calling a bit, and we talked about Jair Alexander, but this defense did give Jalen Hurts some issues week 1. Granted that also I think the turf was an issue as well, but I don't know, man. I just think the 4.5 points. If you're telling me Sirianni and LaFleur, I'm gonna take LaFleur. And to at least keep it close. I don't see this team getting blown out, especially against a team like the Eagles that sometimes has hiccups at points. One of those teams that kind of has to show me a little bit before I have full confidence in them. So give me the Packers getting a 4.5 points. And for the Washington Commanders Buccaneers game, give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I wanted to go with the Commanders but I don't know. I like kind of. I know, notwithstanding like the way that they kind of started the game against the Saints last week, but that's always division games. You can't really weight them that much when in terms of like following, proceeding or following like a regular game, that's not like a division game. We all see how those turn out. Like bad teams face each other and all of a sudden they keep it close or almost win. I think this isn't the case, man, and I think the Buccaneers, the way that they had been playing, but the way that Baker Mayfield has been playing. And a side note, man, does anybody get away with more taunting as a quarterback than Baker Mayfield? That shit's ridiculous, man. And he doesn't get called for anything on those. But I don't know. I like the way that he's playing. He's juiced up. And we haven't seen Jaden Daniels in a big spot yet. So that's one of those other question marks. The way the defense is playing for the Commanders, and the non-existent running game for the Commanders, I just think that that the Buccaneers are gonna have give them trouble with that. The way Bucky Irvin's been playing, obviously Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan. I just think that they have a lot of firepower, and 3 points isn't that much to give. I don't know, man. Give me the Buccaneers. Giving 3, I'll take them over the Commanders. Young team that we weren't expecting, going in the right direction, but I don't think they're ready yet.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Buccaneers as well. Rookie quarterback on the road only getting 3 points is a little surprising to me. I mean, he's been great, but he's still a rookie. It's still a big game. And usually, historically, when you go look back and look at rookies who have made the playoffs and how they perform in the playoffs, it's almost always on the backs of the defense. This whole season has been on Jaden Daniels. It's not the typical rookie situation. Look at Bo Nix. You look back at Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, all the young quarterbacks who have had a lot of success in the playoffs. It's always been on the backs of a really strong defense. The Commanders don't have a really strong defense. I think their defense it's okay. I think it's not as bad, definitely not as bad as people expected it to be, but it's not a defense that's going to be able to kind of protect and carry a rookie quarterback through his first playoff experience on the road. I think the Bucs should run away with this game, to be honest with you. I think the Commies have had a good season, but I just think you're asking a lot of Jaden Daniels to put the team on his back. They don't have a running game that he could lean on. They don't have a defense that he could lean on. You're just hoping that Baker fucks the game up. Like, if Baker plays a decent game, he's been playing really well, but even if he has a shitty game, they could still cover this 3 points. I just don't. I don't know. I don't see it. So I'm gonna take Tampa. I think they should be giving way more points to a rookie quarterback with his first road start. But if I only got to give 3, I'll take Tampa and I'll give it 3.
Well, that is you, and that is Flex, and I am me. I'm actually gonna go Washington, man. I'm gonna go with Washington here, man. I think the Tampa D's not. They can run on that Tampa D. I know they don't got great running backs, but if they scheme it up right, they can run on that Tampa D. I know Villa is a beast, and he's probably the best at his position or top 3. But I'm referring also to Jaden Daniels running the ball. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a lot for a rookie quarterback, but I think this kid is different. And that's basically it. I think that they should cover this game. I think Mayfield can fuck it up. He can be too cocky. I've seen that offense come into games thinking that they're gonna run away with games, and quite frankly, they're in games. And That secondary is not good. Well, what's the safety? He's been out. He's been out for most of the game, most of the season, right? Winfield.
Yeah.
Winfield.
Yeah, is he back?
I don't know.
But regardless, I think that to have dual threat quarterback in that against that defense should be enough to make it a tight game. Tampa Bay, like I said, they're a very cocky team, man. Like I've seen them all year come into games and just you could tell that they're like too cocky, and then they're caught up in games. So I expect that to happen again, especially being home against a rookie quarterback. So give me Washington getting 3. I'm not gonna cower, man. I'm gonna stick with my guys. I'm gonna stick with Minnesota, man. Giving 1.5 to the Rams. It's gonna be a very telling game for Sammy D. But I believe he'll step up, and I believe he'll have a decent game enough to beat the Rams.
2.5.
Oh, it's 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh, that changed. Okay, nice.
It just changed.
Yeah, because I just looked at it before we started here. Damn, that does 2.5. You know? That's tough.
Does that mean that is that possibly because they moved the game definitively to Arizona?
Maybe. I don't know.
Probably. But I'll stick to Minnesota, man. I don't want to change it now. So give me Minnesota. Give me I think the season's better team.
Yeah, they moved it.
Yeah, to Arizona. I seen they moved it to Arizona.
Okay. It just became official while we were on, right?
Yeah. I didn't see the line move though. So good catch, H. But yeah, give me Minnesota. Give me the better team, at least throughout the season. The Rams have been here before. So I do worry about that. But Minnesota, man, they've been doing it all year. I know Sam had a bad game last outing. He burnt me, you know. I thought it was a good game for most part. I know at the end the Lions ran away with it, but the Lions, you know, are arguably one of the best top 3 teams in the league. You know, so, and Minnesota banged with them for most of that game. You know, there was a few mishaps in the red zone by Minnesota. They've been a well-oiled machine. They've been coached well, so I expect them to make the proper adjustments to fix all the issues that they had. And I'm gonna stick to that. 2.5 Minnesota.
I don't know how losing a game like that last Sunday night impacts the Vikings, more specifically Darnold. I actually don't think he was as bad as people say he was in that game. I mean, he missed some throws. But I mean, listen, maybe the nerves did get to him. I didn't think he was as bad as they say he was in that game, but I do think that losing that type of game can affect you. You know, I already mentioned that he had a lot on the line in that game. I think he has just as much, if not more, on the line this game. Like this game could determine his future in Minnesota. This could be the game that decides. If he loses this game in ugly fashion, I think it's more likely that they move on from him in this JJ McCarthy time next year. If he ends up, you know, putting on a show and they win this game and they move on in the playoffs, I think it makes it a lot harder to let him go. And I mean, either way, I think he's going to get a contract from somebody, whether he plays well in this game or not. But if he wants to stay in Minnesota, I think that this is a big moment for him. And I mean, these two teams already played, and the Rams already beat them. And the one thing I would worry about is Brian Flores' defense going to give Stafford problems. But I mean, Stafford, this was one of a few games that he had both of his top dog receivers. You know, they were healthy on offense. They've been banged up all year, but this was one of the few games that they had their full offense. Stafford threw 4 touchdowns. He didn't have any issues with Brian Flores' defense. And I'm just gonna trust. I like Kevin O'Connell a lot, but I like Sean McVay better. If you're telling me I gotta pick between the combination of McVay and Stafford, two guys that have been there before, but climbed the mountain together, won a Super Bowl together. McVay already coached in 2 Super Bowls against a guy, Kevin O'Connell, as good of a coach as I think he is. Against the pairing of him and Darnold in a big spot, I think we might start seeing some ghosts again. Maybe, who knows? But I gotta roll with the veteran. I gotta roll with the experience. And to be honest with you, this is one team that I don't know. I would probably be more hesitant to pick a team that has a venue change and they're not gonna have home field. But the Rams don't really have they don't lean on their home field advantage, so I don't think it's that big of a deal for them to not have home field. And I actually think it could even benefit them to kind of be away from everything that's happening in LA, to really lock in. You don't got to worry about whatever's going on. Obviously, you're still worrying about what's happening back home, but it's not, you're not in the same kind of proximity. It might be a little bit of a reprieve for them. So I actually view the move to Arizona as a potential benefit for them. And I just like I got to take the coaching matchup and the coach and the quarterback combination. We already seen these two teams play before, and I didn't see anything in that game that made me think that they can't find a way to win. If you're going to give me 2.5, I'll take 2.5.
I don't know. I think I'm going to agree with with Cheeks right here. I'm going to take the Vikings only because I know, like, I agree with 2 points that yours. That H is saying over the moving to Arizona, but I agree with one and disagree with the other one. Like, I agree with them, like, their home field advantage isn't really that big of a thing anyway. And honestly, it might be better for them to go to to Arizona in terms of like their fan following. But I mean, is it still in the back? I don't know how anything get kind of altered in their schedules or anything like that with all the stuff that's going on in Los Angeles. So obviously we don't know. It just happened, so we don't really know how anything has been changed. But I don't know, man. This is like the typical like rest versus rust. For the most part, anybody that's that you would be able to name on the Rams squad pretty much sat out last week, and we saw what happened with the Detroit Lions against the Detroit Lions with the Vikings. They were playing down to the wire, and I know what you're saying. Like it didn't seem like Sam Darnold was as bad as what it ended up looking like, but he did have some overthrows. But I think that was just because they were able to take away, they focus all the energy on Justin Jefferson. Maybe he was a little bit frustrated, and maybe that was kind of like a quasi playoff game. And maybe they were, maybe they're able to get over those jitters to a certain degree. And maybe, maybe Sam Darnold would, kind of locks in a little bit, bounces back. And I do like Kevin O'Connell as a coach, man. I think him and Brian Flores kind of dial up. Maybe it's to their benefit that they've seen the team already and see what they've done to them. So I don't know, man. I just think that the it's not so much that the game is being played in Arizona, but it's like the changing around in schedule and maybe what they have to get done, or maybe what the actual team has to deal with over there. That kind of maybe throws it. I know that the extra day being a Monday night game, maybe that helps to a certain degree. But I just think the Vikings have been playing playoff. They have been playing playoff football. The Rams, it just seems like last week that they didn't play their players. I don't know, man. I think that especially with with that offense that's kind of geared on timing and all of that stuff. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's thrown off to a little bit, just everything all together. So give me the Vikings. Given 2.5. I don't know, man. I think they win this one.
Nice. Oh, you want me to close? I'll close.
Yeah, why not?
Well, there you have it. The first playoff
Edwin Diaz.
Super Wildcard episode brought to you by the fine guys at H, Flex, and Life's Fly Degenerates show.
Adios.
Peace.